So we got Garp. He pulls up the G14. Is it G14 or G12? It was. I don't remember. It was. I think it was G14. He pulls up the G14, talking to Doll like, "Hey, I need some men." You know what I'm saying? I think he said he was going to Egghead, which it started off him saying he was going to Egghead, then it ended him saying he was going to Hashinosu. So it looked like Garp is going to Hashinosu to maybe he stops at Egghead first though. I don't know. I don't know if he's planning on stopping at Egghead, maybe getting the trying to get the Seraphim and then going to Hashinosu. But he wants to go to Hashinosu to get Coby. The question is Garp going to clash with Blackbeard? Or is Blackbeard even going to be there? Is Blackbeard even going to be in Hashinosu?
I don't think he's gonna be there.
Okay. Explain why. Why not?
Because of this battle. I mean, he's fighting someone like in terms of bounty should be considered like as a Yonko, you know?
Who, Blackbeard?
So yeah, he's about fighting law. So I mean, like, I feel like this battle is gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as easy for him. So I don't know. I don't think he'll be back that quick.
I don't know. I mean, it depends, right? Like how long, right? Because you gotta look at the time, right? Like Garp still has to get to Hashinosu, right? Like we don't know where Blackbeard is in law, like where their fight is, like where it's at right now. Like, did Blackbeard win already? You know, because Blackbeard was also probably fighting dirty, most likely. He was probably using his crew's help to fight Law. So, if that's the case, that means that he'll probably defeat Law a lot quicker. You know what I mean? So,
Oh yeah, that is also true.
we don't know if Blackbeard, if the fight will wrap up and he'll get to Hashinosu before Garp even arrives there. So like that's I guess that's my point. Like, because Garp is just getting at he's just getting at G14, I guess. So and how far is Hashinosu from G14 base? You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess it all depends on that.
but I don't know because like I don't know if we'll see Garp versus Blackbeard though because that's a scary thought, man. Like, could Garp take on Blackbeard? Matter of fact, let's ask that. Could Garp beat? Like, how does this fight
No,
go if there is a fight? You
I
say
don't think
no.
he can.
Okay. What about you, Cube? Cube.
Yeah, I forgot I was muted. I said, it depends. If it's Garp, El Mepo, and a few people, like pawns with him, then no. But if he has like a good unit with him, so that if he goes against Blackbeard, and his unit who are pretty powerful, goes into his crew.
I'm talking about one on one. Garp versus Blackbeard. No shenanigans.
One on one. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Because we never seen the true potential of Garp's build, and Blackbeard we're just finding out more and more, and he has like two crazy powerful outfits.
So, any speculations on how this might turn out for Garp? Does Garp get captured as well? Is Blackbeard just going to start just building a library of people he captured? Not a library, but like, is he going to build like a almost a prison? Because just think about it, man. The man's going. He has Coby. He already has Coby. He might have Law. We don't know if that fight ends with him capturing Law, right? And then Garp's there. We could potentially see if, let's say, Law is part of Sword. There's that speculation of Law being part of Sword. We'll have Law as a suspected Sword member. It's not a theory that I personally believe 100%, but Law as a suspected sword member, Coby as a sword member. We got Aokiji potentially there as potentially a sword member, Garp as a potential sword member. So I'm starting to think we could get a whole sword situation going. You know what I mean? I'm starting to think
And
we could
just
get a
a
whole
note,
sword situation at Hashinosu.
and just a reminder that X Drake still hasn't reported, with the other sword members, and they were upset. And the last person that saw X Drake was Law, and Law chose Winter Island. He wanted to go there, and his crew seemed to be well prepared in all the water fight and stuff like that. Like it seemed like it was the ideal place to meet up against Blackbeard. And Angel can back it up. I said that I think a month ago. I didn't say about Garp, but I think that Sengoku will pull up. So I think maybe Sengoku might be nearby as well, because X Drake was found on last flashback when we saw X Drake, and most likely he was found by Marines just after his father was killed. Was on the same island where Corazon and Tsuru were operating. So
yeah.
maybe there's and he's a member of Sword. So I would see that maybe Sengoku is with Garp, or he's maybe preoccupying Blackbeard, because it's quite weird. We don't know if the battle is already over, because even Egghead, if you think about it, they didn't even stay a full day at Egghead, it seems.
Yeah.
So we don't know the timeline.
So if Blackbeard doesn't show up, right, and like if Blackbeard's still trying to fight, trying to get Law or whatever, I feel as though it leaves the room for Garp to end up encountering Aokiji.
Yep.
And that could be a potential fight, honestly. Aokiji having to show his loyalty to Blackbeard. That what better way to show that you're loyal, even though I don't think Aokiji is fully 100% loyal, but if I would think that maybe Aokiji has a goal, he's like some type of undercover mission that he's trying to accomplish, a goal he's trying to accomplish, and he has to stay loyal to Blackbeard until that goal is accomplished. Matter of fact, proving his loyalty to Blackbeard by possibly fighting Garp and possibly defeating Garp, it will actually get him closer to his goal, potentially, right? And I think it would honestly be a better option for Garp to end up fighting Aokiji, because if Garp fights Blackbeard, there's a possibility Blackbeard kills Garp. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But if Garp was to fight Aokiji, and even if we say Blackbeard is there, let's say Blackbeard is there, but Garp fights Aokiji instead. Like Aokiji, steps in and I'll take care of this, right? Aokiji could actually save Garp. He could actually save Garp by freezing him, like doing that time capsule that he did on Jaguar D Saw. So I think I think Garp fighting Aokiji would be best case scenario, unless Oda is planning on killing off Garp, which would be sad for me, because Garp's my guy, man. Garp's my dog, man. Garp is my favorite Monkey D. I will say that.
Here's my whole take on this thing about Aokiji, whether or not he saves them. What's his name? Whether or not he saves Garp. I mean, to me, him saving Garp, to me, in my personal opinion, wouldn't really show that he's loyal to any certain group, because in his first appearance, he says that he owes Garp something. So he could probably save him because of that. And plus, if he claims to be the same person he was before, I don't see no reason why he wouldn't help Garp or try to make sure he leaves the area as safe as possible.
You said.
Since
You said. Hold on. I'm trying to get, because you said something. I'm trying to remember what you said. why he would fight Garp? Like, you don't think he will fight Garp?
No, I'm saying like if he fought Garp, I would agree with you saying like he would try to get him out there the safest way possible, like freezing him or something, right?
Yeah, do that. Do that. Freeze him in the
Yeah, that's
same way of he
to me
did.
like to me like I know like if a lot of people saw that, like they would immediately think, oh, he's a member of Sword, but like the fact like he says like, oh, I'm the same person as I was before, and that he says like in his first appearance that he owes Garp a great debt. Like it wouldn't really surprise me that he saves Garp. Like it wouldn't really confirm anything to me.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Oh,
what I said was
oh,
a
I know, I
stretch.
know, I know, I know. I'm not saying that for you. I'm just saying like if that were to happen, like I could see that being the instant reaction. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess so. But you said he wouldn't prove loyalty to Blackbeard?
No, like if he were to save Garp, like I don't think he would prove anything.
No, I said it would prove if he was the freeze Garp, it would prove his loyalty to Blackbeard
Oh,
because
okay, then I guess.
because to Blackbeard it's like you killed him, like you froze him to death. But Aokiji would just freeze him just to preserve his body and get him out of the situation. Oh, eventually, hopefully, somehow. But that's why I think Aokiji would be the better choice because Aokiji most likely is trying to he. I would think Aokiji would join Blackbeard for a purpose, right? There's a reason he joined them. He's trying to take Blackbeard down and at the right time, or he's trying to figure out what Blackbeard's trying to do, like his plan. Either way, I would think Aokiji is have some level of undercover, like he's going under. He's not like really loyal to Blackbeard, but at the same time, in order to gain Blackbeard's trust to achieve whatever it is Aokiji is trying to achieve, assuming Aokiji is trying to achieve something, I would think the best way to get Blackbeard's trust for Aokiji is to supposedly kill Garp. If he does that, it builds that trust, and if he freezes Garp, it would save Garp while gaining that trust of Blackbeard. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think best case scenario, if Garp is the encounter of the Blackbeard pirates, it would be Aokiji because even if Blackbeard is there, matter of fact, Blackbeard being there would be even better because Aokiji would have his audience. He would have Blackbeard's audience, and he could. It's like a performance Aokiji would be doing to take down Garp. Even though he'll really be helping him at the end of the day.
But then again, this all depends on Garp's will. Is Garp gonna be willing to lay down just to live, or is he gonna keep fighting?
I don't think it's a matter of what Garp wants. Aokiji might realize that Garp isn't going to quit, but I would think that Aokiji would be doing it to save Garp, even if it is against his will. Because he wouldn't
I know,
want Garp to die, so he's going to,
but
because he's not going to be able to help Garp. Because if he helps Garp, then his cover will be blown. So
yeah, but we learned that like the devil through abilities can be nullified from hockey, because. So I'm just
Yeah,
curious, like if
don't sleep on
if
Garp
Garp
because
like
Garp,
really wants to do this, he's not gonna lay down. He's not gonna lay down and just let Aokiji do this. Like it's because this is Coby.
but I don't
So like
see
so like this is
that
like
statement you made
like
about.
I think
Go ahead. Go ahead.
like
Even though you're
this whole
breaking up.
thing is like very. Oh, I said this is like a really weird situation. Because like we're only thinking about what Aokiji would do rather than what Garp would do.
And this idea that hockey nullifies the, I think it's more nuanced than just you having hockey, so therefore you could break out of anything a devil fruit user throws at you. I think it's way more nuanced than that. I think like if Kaido was turned into a toy, I don't know, or take it like this. Boa could turn people into if Boa turns you into a stone already, even if you have hockey, it's if she successfully turns you into a stone, you may not be able to break out of that because you'll be stone and you wouldn't have a
I
will
disagree.
to I mean, you don't think Blackbeard has option or hockey, but
No, I think he does.
he was
So
scared to
I think he
turn
does.
into stone.
he
He has.
uses
I think he does. I'm
Amazon
just
Lily.
saying, like, I disagree.
You disagree with what?
I disagree that they wouldn't be able to break out of it.
I didn't say they. I said it's nuanced. I said first it might be determined on how strong your hockey is compared to the devil fruit user you're using or fighting
Oh, okay.
against.
Okay.
So
You
it's
know
more
what?
nuanced.
I'm not.
If Boa
I would
Boa,
agree.
hold on, Boa turning you to stone, you might be able to resist it. But if she successfully does it before you can resist it, then
Yeah.
you may not be able to turn unpetrify yourself because you might because you're stone. At that point, you're stone. If you're stone, you're stone. You don't have a will. You know what I mean? If you're turned into a toy already, a toy might be a little different because even the toys have similar wills, but you may not be in a state where you can use your hockey, is what I'm saying. Like with certain devil fruits, because not every devil fruit is treated equally, right? So, and not only that, somebody like Aokiji, who might have hockey as well, might be able to coat his devil fruit abilities to where you can't undo it with hockey. You know, and
What
it might be a case where Aokiji just might be stronger than Garp at this point, so Garp couldn't out hockey his devil fruit. You know what I mean?
I want to say
So what
this:
else?
hockey is will, and we know that, for well, I'm not gonna say we know this because this might be different depending on the character's opinion. But from Kaido's opinion, he believes that hockey is the strongest thing in the world, and he says that Roger was able to. And then we know that Roger says that many times alone, him and Garp have had
It's
near
all
death
about the,
experience fighting each other. So to me, to me, like this just shows like, oh yeah, Garp's hockey is gonna have to be like on a whole nother level when we meet him or when we see him actually fight. So like I don't see like me personally, I don't see any type of devil fruit being able to keep his will locked up. Boas, Kijis, I don't see any of them being able to do that.
Garp is also a lot older too, so
yeah, but I'm
I
gonna
know
say
he's
this.
older, but like he said, but like what kid said, like he says, like what did that message say again? It only like it's physical strength. That's their physical strength, not their hockey.
He was semi still active. Like if you pick up Whitebeard, Whitebeard was more retired than with Garp, and he was sick, and he did all he did at Marine for not for his physical strength, for his will. So if Garp does show any type of same intensity of will to save Coby at Hashinosu, I don't see a scenario where Aokiji would easily be able to, not easily, but I think he would be able to do that only if Garp like at the end of his rope. Because I think Garp, all of us, we haven't seen his full potential, and I think we'll still be shocked because he's still pretty active if you think about it. Training young recruits only for 2 years. Before that, he was actively going after pirates still.
I mean, like, look, I'm saying hockey, I believe can resist devil fruit abilities, but I don't think it could just always undo every single. Like I think certain abilities, yeah, like Doc Q for example, his more like it acts on you, but it doesn't really do a drastic change to you, like being turned into stone or a toy, right? Like it's just like it. He puts a disease on you. I feel as though you could just use hockey, repel it, especially if you got strong enough hockey comparative to him. But somebody like Aokiji might be able to coat his devil fruit ability in hockey, so it's not easily undone. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
No,
You know,
I mean,
with that, I agree with you, Blanc, because it's not about just having hockey. It's about the intensity of your hockey at that moment. Because think of it at Wano, when Kid asked Law to use his room, he said, I could if I used, but it's just their hockey is on a different level. I can't even activate it around them. So yeah, it's the intensity of the hockey at that moment. So I agree with you. It's not just because you have hockey that you can nullify every attack or everything that will it's
yeah, I
more
agree.
the fact. But I think that if your will is that strong, unless you're able to break that person's will before that, certain abilities that like Dark Q effect like abilities won't have the same effect on people like that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, but like, I agree with you guys on this whole thing. It's just like this is Garp. Like if this was like some other character and we were talking about this, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But like this is Garp, the man who rivaled the Pirate King. And
I
like the
get
only
that.
thing he's really shown that he's gotten weaker on is his physical strength, and that's it. Like anything else he hasn't shown to be weaker at all.
I
Like
get,
the
but he
like the
hasn't
only thing
shown
he
much
said
of
that
anything. My point is he's old as well. He's old, so that has to count for something. Yes, he might for an old man. He still might have strong hockey, but it's also like younger guys that's closer to their primes, and they have strong hockey as well. And I like Garp, bro. Like, look, you look who you talking to. You know what I'm saying? I would defend Garp. I always defend if I find the need to defend him, I will defend him. But the truth is, the man is old. That's not to say that's not to say his hockey ain't still strong, but there's also other characters with strong hockey as well. I would think Aokiji's hockey is probably just as good or even better than Garp's at the moment. Like now, if we're
I
taking Garp in his
completely
prime,
disagree.
if we're taking
I
Garp at his
completely
hold
disagree.
on, I get you completely. If we're taking Garp at his full prime, he may still be like his hockey may be one of the top two, top three strongest hockey users of all time, maybe. But I think the age probably hindered his hockey to a degree.
Here, here. This is what I completely disagree with this whole idea. Is the fact that his whole thing is lazy justice, and the fact that and
It's true.
like the only person where I could see him where like his will may surpass Garp is when he's fighting Akainu. That's the only time I could have ever think like, oh yeah, his will must have been higher than Garp's at that time when he was fighting Akainu, because like they say, oh
Well,
yeah,
Kiji,
he was very pissed off.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kiji.
Aokichi lost his
Because,
part
like that's
apparently.
the only like if he was fighting if he was fighting Akainu, or like if his hockey is as strong, if he if, like it's like bro, it's just that thing, like he says, oh yeah, he was very motivated to fight Akainu, like he did not want him to become, you know, they were fighting with their lives on the line and all this stuff, and he despised this dude, and then you're telling me like he's gonna be so willing to fight someone like he admires and stuff. Like I don't see his hockey overpowering Garp's at all, like in this battle.
I
I don't
don't
see
get.
his hockey
I mean, I
overpowering
kind
him.
of don't get your argument, but my point is Garp's.
No,
I don't believe
my
Garp's.
argument is that
I don't believe Garp's hockey is what it was when he fought Roger at that point. Like you keep saying he fought
I'm
Roger.
looking at
I'm saying I
I'm
don't.
looking at the
I'm saying I
One at
don't
a time,
believe
guys.
Garp's. I don't believe Garp's. Yeah, he keeps talking. I don't believe Garp's hockey is what it was when he fought Roger. You know what I'm saying? It might not even be what it was 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like Aokiji, I'm not saying Aokiji got top tier hockey either. I'm saying his hockey might at least be with Garp's. Because if you look at it, Aokiji's probably, I mean, Aokiji's getting old too, but his is still probably at least somewhat on the uptick where you might have Garp's on the downtick. So there's a point.
He fought.
There's a point where their hockey is similar, and then there's a point where it's going to be Aokiji hockey is probably going to be stronger. I'm not saying it like I've already stated. I'm not saying Aokiji's hockey is as strong as Garp's was in his prime. I'm saying Garp's hockey. I don't believe Garp's hockey is at its prime like it once was.
I'm, and I'm saying like there's nothing like that could lead us to believe that. Like there's no statements that says, oh, like hockey. Like we have statements of stamina, physical strength getting weaker, but nothing about hockey.
Yeah,
So
because
like,
Oda did say that will doesn't get to weaker. It's just your physical strength gets weaker, but you can catch up with will. That's he explained for Whitebeard.
But Garp's not like Garp's mind isn't as sharp because he's more at like if I remember correctly, he was supposed to be retired, right?
No,
Like
he's
him and Sengoku.
semi-retired. He's now the head instructor with Tsuru and and Sengoku.
Yeah,
And they train
and
recruits all around the world.
he's not as active, right? He's not as active.
Yeah, only the last 2 years.
So if you're not as active, I wouldn't think your hockey would be as sharp because hockey is your will, right? Your will. And one thing about your will is you kind of have to be active most of the time. Like Luffy is actively trying to be the Pirate King, so it's like his will is at its highest because he has something that he's
I
trying to
disagree
get.
with you.
Okay, you let me finish what I'm saying. Don't interrupt me telling me you disagree with me. Fine, you disagree with me, but let me finish. What was I saying? Yeah, damn, I can't. You threw me off my game.
You were talking
man.
about how the will after years. After 2 years, your will would get weaker.
No, but yeah, and I still think age does affect him. You're not going to change age. His will's probably not as strong, or his hockey's probably not as strong as it once was. I'll continue. I'll live by that.
Yeah, just for me, the one thing I'm more with Angels. I think the will is the one thing that, with the circumstances of he's going for Coby. I don't know the full intent of how he feels about, but I think he must really love Coby to wanting to go up to Hashimoto to get him himself. It's just it depends on all of that because I do agree that after even if it's 2 years, it's not that much. But I do think that he got weaker. But I do think the circumstances would it. I think if it's like Kinemon and Dressrosa, at Wano his will was much higher, and I think going there for Coby that could like increase his will. But I do agree that he doesn't have a constant control of his will. I'd be at that level because it's been 2 years where he's semi-retired.
Yeah.
But however, guys, okay, yeah, I'll let you say.
I want to say, wait, before we continue, I want to say why I disagree with the whole idea of this 2 years thing is because of Katakuri's whole existence. This dude's bounty is when like it's at the low end of what's it called, the billions, which shows like he doesn't leave what's it called, Whole Cake Island as much. And from what he says, like he barely struggles in his fights, and this dude was able to get this strong. And telling me like 2 years of being inactive from battle will make his hockey weaker.
Matter of fact, you saying Katakuri actually kind of gave me an idea to prove my point. When we seen Katakuri, it's like we know that him using future sight hockey, right? Him using this hockey, it takes a level of sharpness, level of control, like concentration, right? For him to be able to use this awaken this level of hockey, it takes a sharpness, right? Like during battle, if he's flustered, it like he can't see, so it's like a level of focus. You know what I'm saying? And why I say that, right? It shows that like what I'm trying to say, like your will is affected by. I'm trying to think how to say this. Your will is it's affected by like your mental state, right? Your mental state. That's what I would. I mean, would y'all agree with that? Like your will is kind of affected by your mental state.
Yes. Also desire. Yes. I would say
your
mental
desire, right?
and desire.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm not finished. I'm not finished, Angel. I'm not finished.
Oh.
God damn.
Oh, sorry.
So
I didn't know. Because like
I was asking y'all something. That don't mean I was finished. So if your will is affected by your mental state, right? Like we know Luffy, he has a strong will, but his mental state is focused on something. He has a goal, so it keeps his mental state sharp in battle. Like when he's fighting, he knows he has something that he's striving for. Every time he goes into battle, like against Kaido, he wanted to liberate. He wanted to liberate Wano. So matter of fact, the fact that he had this desire, like Cube said, to do this, it made his hockey bloom and get stronger, right? So that will lead me to believe that if you're in a situation where you don't have like an ultimate goal, you don't have you're not always fighting because you're not active, like because you're semi-retired. If your mental state ain't there for like fighting consistently, your hockey would. My belief is that your hockey would waver because you're not always fighting. You're not always in the thick of things. Your mental state isn't as battle sharp because you're not in constant battles like we see Luffy and a lot of the active guys in at the moment, right? So that would make me believe that Garp's hockey has wavered because he's not, even if he does somewhat get back into it, right? Like oh, I want to go save Coby, so now I have something to fight for, something to turn that will back on, right? It's like a muscle. I would think it's like a muscle. If you don't exercise it enough, it's not going to be as sharp. It's not going to be on top. You know what I mean? So that like let Angel, because Angel wanted to disagree with me. Then I'll let you go, Q.
With actually, I have what's it called, with your whole idea with thing with what's it called? You said that
you the
I
whole
forgot what
that
you
whole
said.
thing
You
with
said,
the Hooper the Bobby
with
and
the
Angel, but I
with
think
the
it's quick.
oh, okay, then say it quick.
But yeah,
I
like
guess.
this, you could
Sorry.
think about it more. Okay, so Blanc, I agree completely with what you just said, but I don't think it's about hockey. It's about the physical part, because I would say it's the opposite. I think it explains perfectly the Whitebeard thing. He was physically not well, but his desire and he had nothing else to lose. So I'm just saying that if in this context, if Garp goes to this idea that he has an intense desire to save Coby, that's the only thing he wants to do. I think the only thing that'll be lacking is his 2 years, is his physical strength would have dropped, not drastically, but just dropped a bit. But I think his will will be intense, but in this context. But I do agree that being 2 years away, his hockey isn't constantly as good, meaning that he could get hit pretty easily. But with the scenario of Coby, I think his desire will be so intense it would be a Whitebeard scenario. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I mean, matter of fact, Rayleigh even said like you could work out your hockey and get it stronger, right? So that would make me believe it's like a muscle. You know what I mean? It's not that different from a muscle. You work out your muscle, it gets bigger. You don't work it out, it doesn't get big. It doesn't grow that much. But that don't mean you can't ever so often access your strength just because you haven't been working out your muscles that often. But even if you can somewhat garner some strength that you lost, you'll probably never work to your max efficiency like you used to be able to when you was constantly working out your muscles. And that's all I'm saying. Garp hasn't been working out. He hasn't been utilizing his hockey and his will, right? Because it's like he's probably just been living like a semi-retired life where he's just been chilling and enjoying life. You know, he hasn't been that iron hasn't been put through the fire for him to just summon it.
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Well, I was letting you go, so go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I disagree.
Okay.
Because of the Ace novels with Ace and Whitebeard, you know, they show that like no matter how long you haven't, it shows like no matter how long you haven't been in battle, because Blackbeard hasn't been in battle in a while, and then he's facing Ace. Yeah.
Yeah, Whitebeard.
Whitebeard or Blackbeard?
Yeah, when he's fighting Whitebeard, the older one, and when he's facing Ace, he seems to have no problem facing him. Even when Ace starts to get his hockey better, like Whitebeard seems to never.
That's not really. I don't think that. To me, that's just. Again, I'm not saying he can't access hockey, right? But at that point, Whitebeard was superior to Ace in every way. Still,
I know what I'm saying. Like
you know
even
what I
when
mean?
Ace got his hockey, I know, like, no, I'm saying like even when Ace got his haki like to high levels, like
But
in
I'm
their
saying
final fight,
there was
like
never at one point up until Ace died, there was probably there I don't think there was ever a situation where Ace was strong enough to compete with to compete with Whitebeard. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's kind of a moot point because you're arguing Ace, but
no,
Ace isn't.
I'm using Ace. No, I'm using Ace's will because when Ace clashes with what not clashes, but when his flames go with what's his name Aokiji, his flames easily bypass what's it called Aokiji's ice. And I personally don't believe that his ice was
but
that weak when he
but
studied
but
because
that's
of his will.
that's a different
Like,
situation
that's
because
what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like you're arguing all these points for Ace, but you're forgetting that Aokiji has a weak will.
but listen,
Because like,
Ace, you're arguing that, but that is a matchup discrepancy. Ace is fired. Aokiji's ice. So
yes, but
fire does better against ice. It could melt ice. So it's more of a it's to say like Ace's flames was like overpowering Aokiji. That's more of a matchup thing. That's not a will thing. It's just it's a
no,
bad
to me,
matchup for Aokiji.
the reason why I think it's a will thing is because of his fight with Akainu. If his ice is that weak, how would he have been able to last 10 days against Akainu? That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like his will intensifying makes his devil fruit stronger.
I mean, that's a good point. He was able to, but
So I'm saying,
ultimately he
like,
still lost.
yeah, I know. Ultimately, he still lost at the end, but I'm just saying, like,
Yes, but
I don't
but
think
again, you know, like
is that tough. Like, because like I said, like, oh yeah, because I definitely think Garp is gonna have a whole. I don't even know how long it's been since Wiper fought Ace in the story when this is going on, but I definitely think like when he goes there, he's gonna be serious. Like, I know right now he's laughing and stuff, like he seems to be joking around, but like he was the same way before the war starts with Ace. He was laughing and stuff, and then when the war started, he was very serious. So like he knows like when jokes when the time for fun ends, and they reach Hashinosu, Garp
yeah,
is gonna be very serious.
but like I said, I don't think that proves that Garp's hockey isn't as sharp as it once was. Like because he's been he's been he's been living a more retired lifestyle, right? So it just tells me that he hasn't really kept his hockey at a sharp. Can he still access it? No doubt. I believe Garp can still access it. Is his hockey stronger than a lot of characters? No doubt. I believe he still probably has a high level of hockey. I don't think it. I think when we compare it to maybe some other characters with hockey, I don't know if it can trump theirs. I don't think it's as where it was in his prime when he was way more active and he was keeping it. He was constantly keeping that sword sharp, right? That's all I'm saying. I don't think I think
I know,
hockey
but like I'm
can
saying,
uh waver if it's not constantly being used. And I don't mean in battle. I just mean like if you're not like if you don't have something to use it for, like you don't have a goal or you don't have nothing to strive for. Like if you're just chilling and just just chilling all the time, I think it can get weakened because you don't have something. Now him having this goal to get Coby, I think he can access a good portion of it, but I don't think it would be like him accessing his full his full prime days hockey. That's what I'm saying.
it's like yeah, it's just like to me, like I have no reason to believe that. Like I have no like there's nothing that we've seen so far that shows like if you don't use your hockey for a while, oh yeah, it's gonna get weaker. Or like it's like what like it's like to me like I've always seen it just as your will, and like nothing shows like your will at the moment. Okay, your will at the moment is gonna show how strong your hockey is,
Let me ask you
and
something.
at the
Let me ask
moment
you
this man
something.
is going to go see what.
Do you think do you think Hyogoro, do you think his hockey was as strong as it was in his prime?
No,
You don't think it was as strong as it was in his prime?
No,
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it should. I'm saying by your logic, his hockey should be pretty much the same.
Yeah, but like there's like a difference between those two.
What
How long? Like
Higoro is
the
much older. he
no,
hasn't been
Higoro,
his
no,
will is
Higoro is not that he's much older. It's the
why.
fact. It's the time span. One hasn't been active for 2 years, while the other one hasn't been active for 20 years.
But
And
then
his hockey was his will was destroyed in the prisons. It's a for me it's a
Yeah,
completely different scenario.
so you agree that hockey can weaken.
No, did you not just hear what Cube said?
I'm asking you a question. Do you agree that hockey
No,
can get weakened?
no. As long as your
You
will is
just
strong. I
you
said as long
just
as your will
proved
is.
it. You just proved
No,
you.
did you not hear what Cube said? Cube
I,
said that
I
his will was destroyed when he went to the prison.
that's not
Like
what
I'm
I'm
saying, as long
asking
as your
though.
will is strong,
That's
you
not what I'm
can.
asking. I asked you a simple question. Do you
And I
agree that
said no.
hockey? I asked you. Do you think that hockey could be weakened? It can be. I'm not
No,
asking under what conditions, but
no, I don't.
you just agreed that Higoro's hockey is weaker than it used to be.
I
You
know
just
I did.
agree with that. So
But
you literally
but do you
contradict
not?
yourself.
But
Bro,
you're
let me
ignoring the context. You're
Angel.
ignoring the
I'm
context
not
of
ignoring.
why his will
I
is
didn't
weaker.
ask you. I didn't ask you why. I just asked you. Do you agree that hockey can be weakened? That's all I asked.
No. Okay, okay. I'm gonna say yes because of the hero go thing.
Cause
But you're ignoring
Higoro,
the context.
I said nothing about context. I just asked a simple question. It's like I said, can somebody be hungry? I'm not asking you under what context could people be hungry. I'll just
Okay.
ask you, can
Yes.
someone be hungry? Can hockey be
Okay. Yes.
weakened? Like
Yes.
I don't know how that just kind of goes over your head. You just agreed that Higoro's hockey was weaker, but yet you don't agree that hockey could be weakened. That makes zero sense, Angel.
Oh, yeah, I
That
just
makes
said I
zero
just changed
sense.
I know I just changed my answer to
Okay,
yes.
but next time
To
think before you just want to disagree just for the sake of disagreeing. You're just
Okay, can we continue?
yes, we could, I'm trying to get a base level of agreeing, right? So hockey can be weakened. It yes, it
Yes.
there is a context of why it can be weakened. Higoro's was weaker because he was trapped in a prison. They destroyed his will pretty much. His was more extreme. I agree with that. Higoro's was way more extreme because of the circumstances of him being in prison. But that doesn't change. That doesn't change my point though. It's the point is your hockey is based on your will, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Mm-hmm.
your will is based on what is your will based off of, right? Is based off of desire, like trying to accomplish something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're living life and you don't have something that you're trying to accomplish, you don't have nothing you desire because you pretty much done everything you can. You're much older, so you're chilling or whatever. That would lead me to believe, and I'm just talking about Garp in general. I don't even mean just Garp within the 2 years. I'm just talking about even 2 years ago. I don't believe his hockey was as strong as it was back when he used to fight Goldie Roger, because it got to a point where Goldie Roger or Garp was living more on like autopilot, where it was just he just went to do his job. He dealt with things as they came, but it wasn't like, like I don't remember Garp being stated that fight anybody that's relevant to the story now recently. Like what was his last major fight? You know what I mean? Like who was the
I'm pretty
last
sure it
person
was
that he
him and
fought?
Sengoku. I'm
He
pretty
was
sure it was like him and Sengoku versus Blackbeard or something. Or the crew. I don't remember. I don't know if it was just him, but that was him, Marineford.
I think Sengoku fought the Blackbeard Pirates. I don't think Garp got
No,
involved.
Garp and Sengoku attacked both at the same time. Blackbeard's crew.
But I mean more like an all-out fight though, like where he's just like fighting somebody for survival
Yeah,
or
we haven't.
to take them in. You know, Garp. You know, we haven't really seen Garp out there active. Even 2 years ago, you know, like he was doing jobs and stuff, but he wasn't like we ain't get like a newspaper saying, "Oh, Garp defeats such and such" or anything. It was just, you know, it seemed like Garp just been
So like,
doing whatever.
so
You
like
know,
so you think that like it depends on the situation?
I'm saying it depends on how I'm saying it depends on the person's mental state. It
Okay,
depends
then
on
we agree.
it depends on how act like I could see Luffy, like let's take Luffy for example, right? Luffy's trying to become Pirate King. He's trying to become Pirate King. He has a goal, right? So anything
Mm-hmm.
everything that crosses his path, right? Like if there's somebody who he has to fight and has to beat, his will is like, I have to beat this person, because if I don't beat him, then my goal to become Pirate King stops here. So his mind is at his sharpest because he's always fighting. He's always fighting. It's always somebody else. It's always somebody else trying to get in the way of his goal. So is I think right now, you know, like up until the point he becomes Pirate King, this is the strongest his haki is going to be. But then after he becomes Pirate King, and unless he finds a new goal to achieve, to keep that sharpness, to keep his will sharp, his haki is probably going to eventually is going to start to decline. Like especially if he has nothing else that is keeping him driven, right? Like let's say he doesn't die at the end of the series and he just lives out like a pretty lengthy rest of his life, and his now there will be times where he's going to have to fight that's going to bring out that will, but I don't think after he achieves everything and the further the years start to pass, I don't think his haki is ever going to be what it was during his journey to be Pirate King, because he never had to reach a mental state to where he had to desire something that strongly to where his haki has to be at its peak. That's what I'm saying. That's where I see Garp
Oh,
now. That's
then
where I see Garp now. And I don't see him being the same ultra
okay.
hockey Garp that he was when he fought Goldie Roger. That's
Here
all I'm
here
saying.
is what I'm gonna say. Like if you're talking about like Garp when he's just walking around doing nothing, then okay, I agree with you. Like I don't think he's gonna be that strong if you were to attack him. I mean, he got cut by Axe Hand Morgan while he was sleeping. So, but like in the current situation and like knowing his relationship with him and Kobe, like I see no reason why his hockey shouldn't be that strong.
I
It's
don't
like, it's
see a
like,
reason why it
it's like
would be, because
you don't see a reason why
he
what?
doesn't I'm saying I don't see a reason why it would be. I just think he hasn't worked it out enough for it to,
I mean,
like,
but like,
if the hockey, like let's say this, if your hockey can get weaker, right, kind of like we both said with here girl, hockey can get weaker, right? So if your
yes,
hockey can get weaker, and we see, bro, the man been trying to fight a war. He's been trying to win a war to get his country back, and it's not like he's accessed any ridiculous level of hockey just because he has a great reason to desire to want to get that his old prime days hockey, but it doesn't seem like he's accessed it. You know what I mean? Seem like his hockey is still on the level it was when he got out of prison. So it if hockey could get stronger with like through bad situations, right? But hockey could get weaker. It just makes me think that in order to get it back to the level it was for Garp to get to his prime, he has to go through some stuff again. Now, I'm not saying his hockey's not strong at the moment. I'm just saying I don't think it's ever going to be what it was in the prime, because unless he's constantly, unless he finds something to desire again and he's constantly honing it and building it back up. That's why I say hockey's like a muscle. If you don't work out your muscle enough, it's going to get weaker, and then you got to work it out again until it get that build that strength back up. Like that, you know, that's my argument. That hockey's more of a muscle, and that it's not just going to be like a muscle that just stays the same size and it will always be as strong as it always is. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's going to be the case for Garp. I think that, you know, I just think his hockey is weaker. I'm not saying it's weak. I just think it's weaker than it was in his Roger days. And even if he does want something that much, it can get stronger again. I'm not saying he can't like push past that limitation that he got himself in. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to get to what it once was. You know.
Well, if that's what you think, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But yeah, that's all I really got for that though. That talking. Y'all got anything else to add to
Well,
Garp?
guys, I have something to add because I'm very disappointed.
Is this
You
about
never
Garp?
talked. Yep. You guys did not even talk about the potential Rock Pirate storyline we might get soon. Garp, Hashinosu, old HQ of Rock Xebex. We might get something soon if we see the whole thing unfolding.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it could happen. You know, I mean, what is it? Just as a Beck and Blackbeard thing? Just as a Beck thing? Is that what you're saying?
Or even the fact Garp is the one who defeated with Roger Xebex, and Hashinosu was his old HQ, and Blackbeard has his whole thing. So we might get like some snippet of information about what happened at God Valley, or even more so about the Rock Pirates. Because Sengoku did say that the one that knows the most nowadays about the rocks is Garp.
Yeah. I mean,
So that could be interesting.
I would hope that we get some rocks stuff, some Zebek stuff. I would hope, like if my theory about Zebek being part of Blackbeard is true, this might be the best time to do it, to make that reveal, and I didn't think about that, but I would like that. That'd be dope right there. That would definitely be dope.